Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to the Keto Mom page. My name is Stephanie Milkey, and we're going to dive into fat loss. And I kind of think of it as a series, but not really because we're not going to stop it. So I have some things I've been thinking about. As you're tuning in, I would love to know where you're tuning in from. I'm tuning in from Florida. We are still in Florida. We actually have a couple, maybe a couple more weeks of travel, right? Looking at my husband. All right. We're in Florida. Tell me where you're tuning in from. We've been at a conference for the last almost week, and so I have some different ideas. Normally, for the last almost 2 years in April, it would have been 2 years, we would be reading books in the morning and diving into just doing books together, working on your mindset. Something that I learned a couple of years ago, or I felt like was super important, was to help people on their keto journey, on their diet, lifestyle, whatever you want to call it, and realize that it's not just recipes that you need. I've talked about this a lot. So if you're brand new, you can post a new below. If you're not brand new, you've heard me say this. And so you've heard me say, hey, your fat loss is important. I want to give you some keto tips. I want to help you reach your goals, and yet there are some things that I'm like, people need to have an awareness of, an understanding of, helping you in different areas of your life. So as we were at this conference, I was honestly praying about what to do with this page. I don't have a book picked out for this next month. We're going to dive into just the title. It's going to be called Fat Loss and there's different things that I want to talk about that are the and. There was a book that we've gone through called Chazown. So at any point in time, you can go to ketomomsecrets.com. Hey, welcome. I love when you guys tell me you're new. Welcome, Veronica. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for saying good morning. Hi, Heidi. Happy Monday. Good morning. All right. So there's different things that we are going to cover on the page. You can always go to ketomomsecrets.com. You can click on recipes, how to get started. You can send me a message. You can click on mindset. Click on trial packs. I drink ketones. I talk about that every single day. So there's different things. Welcome, Donna. I love that you're new. Good morning. And so here's what I want you to understand with this page. It started out with just recipes. Then I've talked about ketones, and I've talked about food. Then I realized that in itself wasn't helping people reach their goals. So this is what we are doing. There's a book that I went through. I'm going to make it a version of my own. And I'm really just taking a whole bunch of books and things that my husband and I have learned over the last couple of years, and we want to give that to you as a need, things that we feel like people need. But I also realize there are things that people want. Stay with me here, all right? So in general, you can always go to ketomomsecrets.com, click on book club. There's a book called Chazown, and it's about your life being like a circle. How many of you went through that book with me? If you went through the book called Chazown, you should just say me below. I just like to know who read the book. So in general, Pastor Craig Groeschel talks about how your life is kind of like a tire or a wheel, and you've got different spokes that make up your life. I've changed the verbiage, and I like to have things kind of flow. And so really what I want to talk about is things like your faith, your family, your friends, your fitness, your finances, all the different freedom, different F's that in general, different words, that if you didn't realize it actually affect your fat loss. So here's what we're going to talk about today. I really want to start keeping the lives under 10 minutes. I want you to be able to come here and go, I'm going to get a keto tip, and I'm going to get something else that I maybe didn't know that I needed. Maybe I didn't want, but I actually need. And so I want to give you a fat loss tip, and I want to give you a tip in other areas of your life to help you on your journey. Because you know what? If your finances are a mess, if your relationships are a mess, if you need help in other areas, if your faith walk is a mess, like there's other areas of your life that are affecting your fat loss, whether you like it or not. So a reality is this. There are lots of things that affect the way that you eat, or the excuses that you make, or the things that you do or don't do. And so here's what we're doing today. Are you ready? How does this sound? I am going to be having my husband come on also. I think we're going to try to do more lives in the evenings as well, because I would like to cover different topics like marriage. Like, how does communication affect your fat loss? I'm just going to say fat loss and. So here's what we're doing. If you want to plug in, I love it. I love it. Michael says I'm talking to him. And so I love it. Good morning, you guys. I love that you're saying good morning. I also like to say your presence matters. You have value to add. So if there's anything that you're like, hey, this has helped me on my journey, I would love for you to share it below. My hope is that you can scroll through these videos and learn from other people. So here is my tip for you today. Are you ready? Fat loss and your fat loss tip, your diet tip, your keto, low carb, something that's going to help you on your journey if you're only here for fat loss, is a couple phrases and something around what you're drinking. But here's what I want you to know. And if you have to write this down, I actually think it's super important. The diet, the lifestyle, but in general, I used to say, no, it's a lifestyle. But in reality, how you're eating today, the things that you're doing today is not a lifestyle until you've created something long-term. You've changed the systems and habits. You've created healthy habits to create a lifestyle. So right now, if you're brand new, or you just started in 2023, or you just started this month, or if you're watching live, it's a Monday and you're like, I'm just starting right now, it's really a diet, right? The diet that's going to work for you is the one you stick with long-term. I want you to just hear that, because there are people here that I'm helping that are actually not keto. And in fact, I actually eat too much protein to be considered keto. I would say more carb conscious or more low carb. This page is not just about strict ketogenic diet, because that diet was meant for medical reasons, and that diet will work for this many people and they won't stick with it long term. Listen, if you're here for fat loss, and if you're here to feel better, and if you're here to physically change your body, you've got to have some awareness of understanding that the diet that's going to work for you is the one that you stick with long term. Not giving up now because you started at the beginning of the year and you're not seeing the results that you want, so you're going to do something different. I've done all of the things, or it's been 2 weeks. Well, guess what? You didn't get here overnight. You're not going to get there overnight. It is a process of changing bad habits. It's the process of changing the systems that you've done to get you where you are today. We've got to have some mindset changes, right? So I just want you to hear that. The diet that will work for you is the one that you're going to stick with. What? I hope you said it in your mind. Long term, right? This is consistent action. It's taking what you know, because I'm going to guess that I'm not the only person that you're following on social media for recipes and keto tips, right? I'm not the only person that's talking like this. You can go listen and you can get tons of keto recipes. You can get tons of different things, that's going to help you on your journey. I love that you're starting today. I love it. And I am here to help you. You can send me a message at any time. I will give you a foods list. I will help you on your journey. I will answer the questions to the best of my ability. And I want you to know that this is a journey that you will have, little celebrations long-term down the road. But if you've got a big fat loss goal, it's going to be this entire year of you staying focused on the journey. All right? So that is number one. Number two, I wanted to share with you, I really want you to think about this. If you feel like you're at a plateau, you're at a stall, if it's been 2 weeks and I'm not seeing the fat loss that I want, I really want you just to evaluate week by week. So think about today. It's a new week. Like, did you prepare for this week? Do you have your meals planned? Like, some of you, actually a lot of you, will send me messages and you'll go, I did this years ago. Why is it not happening as fast? I know what to do. I lost the weight. I gained it back. I've done low carb. I felt amazing. Whatever the case may be, right? And understanding that there are things that change in your body. I get it as you age, but I also want you to know that if you are here and you're like, it's not working the same as it was working, I've reached a plateau, I don't understand, I just want you to evaluate yourself this week and go, where am I letting things sneak in? Where am I making excuses? Some of you are like, but I've done the same. And I'm like, but are you really eating the same way that you did years ago? And if you are, there is a factor, I get it, there is a factor of age, not in a bad way, but like, are you moving the same? Maybe you went from like walking. So like, here's something that's huge, and people don't think about this. You ate a specific way. It worked for you a couple years ago. What's happened in the last couple years? people have stayed home more. They haven't gone out to the gym. They maybe went from a job that maybe had them walk around the office. Maybe they used to go for a walk on their lunch break. Now they're home at an office job. Like, there are things that have affected your body differently, and you need to have an awareness of that. So if it's not working the way that it did in the past or the way that you thought it was going to, just have an awareness of today. Okay, what am I eating? There are a lot more keto processed snacks today than there were a couple years ago. So how many times am I eating these processed snacks? And while it says keto, it doesn't always mean it's the best option for you. So I just want you to go, all right, what am I doing differently than I did years ago? Or where am I letting things sneak in and I'm just making an excuse for it? It's not a big deal. I did great. All I'm saying is, if you're not reaching your fat loss goals, and again, a mindset is consistently see long-term, just evaluate your day of what you're eating, if you're moving your body, and different things like that. That's going to help you on your journey. All right. So the simple awareness is long-term consistency over time. And here's the actual keto tip that I want to give you today. And then I'm going to tell you one more thing. Are you ready? It's so simple. And the first thing I tell people when they're going on a journey to losing fat is all I want you to do today is evaluate everything that you're drinking. I want you to think about how much water are you drinking. You should be drinking half your body weight in ounces of water. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you should be drinking 100 ounces of water, right? Your body, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. Your body is made up of, I think it's 70% of water. Your body needs water. This is something I have to constantly tell myself, I have to drink more water, especially when our family is traveling. And so water is super important. And I'll say, just give yourself an understanding of like, what are you putting in your coffee? What are you drinking throughout the day? Like, I drink ketones every day. This is my mom fuel. It's not just for moms. So I drink water and I drink ketones. I drink some protein shakes and that's it. I'm not putting a whole bunch of sugary stuff in my coffee. I'm not drinking energy drinks. I'm not like mindlessly drinking things throughout the day. And that has a huge effect on your fat loss goals, whether you like it or not. How much sugar are you putting in your coffee? Like, people say, but it's 100% juice. I'm drinking 100% juice. And I'm like, I just want you to be aware. All we're talking about, what fluids are you drinking? You need half your body weight in ounces of water. If you've never tried ketones, I drink them every day. That is my fuel of choice. It's pretty amazing. Legitimately, I've been drinking it for 8 years. So if you've never tried ketones, if you need something to truly help you on your journey, does bourbon count? No. Y'all think you're funny. If you actually need something to help you with your energy, your focus, like actually a product that I feel is incredible, and I've been drinking it for 8 years, I would say try some ketones. If you've never tried them, post trial below and we can chat. So, but ultimately your keto tip today is pay attention to how much water you're drinking. Super important, because as you start having this awareness and you take these little habits and you create new habits of like getting out the sugary stuff you're drinking and drinking more water. Being aware of how much sugar you're putting in your coffee, keeping it black, or finding a substitute. As you take these little habits and you stack them, you're going to create better systems and long-term habits, which will help you 100% on your goals. So I can't read everybody's comments, but I would love, if you have questions, ask your questions below, and I'll come back on and send you a message, or just answer it below. All right, so that is what you want. People want what I feel. People want me just to give them recipes. They want me just to give them the how-tos. They want me just to. So today, what I feel like I just want to tell, drink your water. Now, what I feel like people need is more than that. So I broke topics down into the faith, family, friends, fitness, and finances. And today, all I want to say is this. Here's your accountability. Here you can use this as an accountability piece. Have you moved your body today? So we're going to talk about the fitness aspect. Oftentimes I'll hear people, because we're in the CrossFit world from a pretty low level of CrossFit. You might hear CrossFit and you might go, I'm a CrossFit athlete, homeschool mom, CrossFit athlete that thinks of functional fitness. That's my mindset, right? And so I really have had this awareness of people working at home more, not getting out as much. And so the fact that fitness comes into play, and how does fitness come into play in your fat loss? Dr. Ryan, so I've talked about him on here before. So Dr. Ryan Lowry is one of the scientists. He's one of the doctors. He formulated the ketones, but he spoke at one of our last events, and he said, most of the time people think fitness and they think they have to go lift all of these weights and do this high intensity cardio, which is good for you. And if you love to do it, awesome. I love to go to the CrossFit gym. I love to lift weights. I'm going to currently work on, and I am telling myself this to get more cardio in. But what if all you thought was, I need to get about 10,000 steps in? Now, if you have a very office job and you're sitting around a majority of your day and you're like, I don't even get 5,000 steps in. The goal isn't to go from 5 to 10,000. The goal is, how can I walk a little bit more? How can I move my body a little bit more? I've often heard people say, well, I worked out today so I can eat the donut. How many of you have that mindset of, because I worked out, I can eat? Or I'm going to eat this and then go work out. So I'm sure you've heard this before. It's not a new saying, like you can't outwork a bad diet. In general, I would say that for the most part, 100% is a key phrase for most people. There are people that run marathons, have a crazy high metabolism I'm just going to say my sister has a high metabolism, runs probably 7 to 8 miles a day, and really doesn't eat the greatest, but she runs a ton. Not good for her knees. She would tell you that. Anyways, doesn't matter. Here's what my tip is for you around the fitness aspect. Whatever it is, I want you to just think about, if you physically can, you need to move your body. So if you need to get like a little Fitbit or a watch or something to calculate your steps, Dr. Ryan Lowry, who is a huge in performance, really coaches people on the keto diet and drinking ketones and intermittent fasting, all of these different things. But he's like, if people could just get in 10,000 steps, which you work towards that goal, it will help their body so much. So I just want you to have the awareness of how much you're drinking today, and am I moving my body? It's a Monday. You're watching live. Like, are you ready for the week? Do you have your meals laid out? And what are you doing for your fitness? How many of you worked out today? I haven't. So when we travel, we actually don't have a gym in the place we're traveling. My excuse has been, there has been no excuse. I haven't gotten my workouts in. So today we're going to do one, and for the rest of the week, we are going to be moving our body, at least getting our steps in. Today we will 100% get our steps in because we're taking our girls to a amusement park. And just have that awareness. So here's what I want you to know. As you continue to tune into the page, you're going to get something that you want, a keto tip or a trick or a recipe or a thought, and then something that I feel like people need. And the need might not sound so glamorous, but once you have an awareness of all of these different things, 100% it will help you on your journey. I loved it. He said he walked 3 miles. Good job. All right. So if you need to use this as an accountability, tell me, how is your water intake? Not even just for today, but in general. Do you drink enough water? Yes or no? And then use this as an accountability video live of like, did you get your workout in today? Yes or no? And you guys, remember, it's not just going to an hour at the gym. Go walk around the block, park further away when you go places. Oh, I've got people asking. Okay. So in general, thank you for asking your questions below. You can always ask questions below. Go to ketomomsecrets.com. You can send me a message. And thank you for tuning in. Your presence matters. You can let me know if you've never tried ketones. Post trial in the comments. If you need a basic foods list, send me a message. I hope you guys have an incredible day. Thank you. You guys are super sweet. Have an incredible day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.